What is happening, everybody? Thank you for joining us here for the Mission Ready Men briefing on the SHR Media Network. Today is Tuesday, April 1st, in the year of our Lord 2025. And it's been a whole week since we last got together. And there's a lot to talk about. We're not going to, well, we are going to talk about some April Fools. And of course, they're foolish all year round. And there is a lot of foolishness to get into. And we are going to get into all of that. But first, thank you once again for joining us here for the briefing on the SHR Media Network. You can follow us on all the socials at Mission Ready Men on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And for our merch, head over to missionreadymen.com and click on Shop 7 Armors and check out this design and all the other great designs that we have over there. All right, there's a lot to get into. So let's get after it. I had a whole show planned. And I saw, as I was getting ready to come on, I saw some things that were disturbing, to say the least. And as I was looking for some corroboration on some things, I came across this story about Hamas and how they killed an anti-Hamas protester in Gaza, tortured him, beat him to death, and then dumped his body on his family's doorstep. Savages, absolute savagery. And there was somebody who was from Gaza, I believe he's in the UK now doing reporting, and he said something along the lines of, they have the right to protest. And that's true to a certain extent. I mean, as a human right, they have the right to express themselves, but those rights in Gaza, they don't exist. They don't exist because Hamas doesn't let them exist. And that's why they tortured and beat this kid. And I believe he's only 22 years old. I can't, let's see. Yeah, he was in his early 20s. And they tortured and killed this kid and then dumped his body on his family's doorstep. It's barbaric. These people are barbarians, they're savages, and they cannot be wiped out soon enough. And as I was reading that, and I have a whole bunch of other stuff I'm going to get to, but this was just unbelievable. As I was looking at that, I came across this tweet from townhall.com, and you're going to have to check it out. I can't even really adequately describe what it's. Of course, it's somebody in the American Pravda who just, I don't even know how to describe this. It's along the same lines as the, it has to do with Hamas, and it's along the same lines as the savagery that they displayed. And if I can actually pull it up instead of just talking about it, you'll be able to see exactly what it is that I am referring to. Here we go.
The terrorists became very mean and very cruel and violent.
More so.
Much more so. They were beating me and starving me.
Do you think they starved you, or they just didn't have food?
No, I think they starved me, and they would often eat in front of me and not offer me food.
Do you think they were starving you, actively starving you, or they just didn't have enough food to go around? Is she out of, well, yes, she is out of her mind. These people, they flew in to Israel on October 7th and savagely mowed down 1,200 people, kidnapped almost 300, 257, I believe, was the number they kidnapped that day. And she thinks that they would actually feed them if they had the food. She is a lunatic. She is certifiably insane. She is supposed to be a journalist, and what? She's not a journalist. She's a propagandist, because that's something a propagandist would say. That's something somebody who is sympathetic to that faction would say. It's unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable that she let that spill out of her face. It's beyond reason for anyone with more than two brain cells to rub together. It is beyond reason that somebody would actually say something like that to a former hostage. I could go on about this for the rest of the show, but we have some other stuff to get into. You know what? Let's move on. There was one other thing I wanted to get to, but it's really not that important. I do want to get to this, though, because this is, I talked in the open about the April Fools. And this is not an April Fool's joke or anything like that. These people, and we just talked about Leslie Stahl. These people we're about to talk about here in a second are just as lunatic as she was. Justin Pearson. Justin Pearson is a rep from the state of Tennessee. He's a state rep in Tennessee, and he has made a name for himself in this as this wannabe Southern preacher type activist who is really active in the anti-gun lobby. And well, you know what? Before we get into that, let's take a look at Justin Pearson before he decided to take on this persona. And he actually, like someone else that we're going to talk about, he actually sounded like a reasonable human being and looked like a human being.
Justin J. Pearson, and I'm running for president of VSG. There are a few reasons that we're running this campaign this year. One has to do with representation. How can we represent all voices in a conversation? I wanted to do this by partnering with organizations from the Bowdoin Democrats to the Bowdoin Republicans. I want to bring together different voices, dissenting voices, voices that may be more liberal or more conservative, in order that we can reach a point of sort of the radical middle.
It seemed like the NRA and gun lobbyists might win. But oh, that was good news for us. I don't know how long this Saturday in the state of Tennessee might last. But oh, we have good news, folks. We've got good news that Sunday always comes.
Justin J. Pearson, and I'm running for president of PSG. There are a few reasons that we're running.
Same guy. If you can believe it. He is... I don't even know how to... I mean, come on. Just... It's he's a fraud. He's a fraud. He's cosplaying a Southern preacher right now. And it's if I didn't tell you that was the same guy, you would not know. Between the afro and the Southern preacher accent, you would not know. Now, he recently suffered a tragedy. His brother died back in December from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. And obviously, as I said, he's been a part of the anti-gun lobby. And he hasn't been at work since his brother passed away on December 1st, I believe, was when it happened. And so just last week was his first day back. Now, I feel for him. I feel for his family. But 3 months, even for a close family member like a brother, 3 months of not showing up to work is a bit excessive. It's a bit excessive. And I don't think that in any other career, in any other job, I don't think you would still have a job if you showed up 3 months later. And I pray for him and his family that they get some comfort and overcome this tragedy, because I mean, nobody wants to see that. Nobody thinks that anybody deserves that. But here is him in his first day back, on his first day back to work in the Tennessee State House. And he suffers a meltdown of epic proportions. I'm not going to play the whole thing. The whole clip is 5.5 minutes long. I'm going to skip around. But you really need to take a look at this, because, and I don't feel bad about calling this guy a lunatic, because this was him before his brother passed away. He was a lunatic long before that. But here he is on the House floor.
The Tennessee House of Representatives. It is a pathetic excuse for you to not answer the question of why we are doing nothing about the gun violence epidemic than to personally attack me. But let me explain to you what I have been doing, Representative, since you asked. My brother, Temperance Darnell Pearson, one of the...
Since you asked? Oh, that annoys me. Anyway.
Loves of my life passed away from gun suicide on December 1st of 2024. And since that happened, it shattered my family like gun violence has shattered so many families. Shattered my nephew's lives, my mother, my father, my other brothers who are remaining. I buried my brother. I planned for his entire funeral. My fiance made his obituary. I made sure that he was taken care of, even in death. That's what I've been doing.
But also, not just that, I went to all of my nephew's schools. I met with their principals and their teachers to ensure that they are okay. I gave them and made sure that they had grief counseling and that they're seeing a psychiatrist. That's what I've been doing. And while you're talking about hard work, you need to realize that our job is not just in this state house with these marble floors. Our jobs are on the streets and in the communities that we serve. And so while you've been here passing bills that have been hurting transgender children, while you've been here passing bills that have been hurting the poor, hurting the marginalized, hurting the disenfranchised, while you've been here passing bills that have not ended poverty, while you've been here passing bills that have not helped people who need Medicaid expansion, while you've been here doing the hard work of making sure that our state is not the state that it can be, because you have decided.
Representative Pearson.
Reality of our situation is only to be.
Representative.
This dude is having a full-blown meltdown, and we're gonna get into another part of this video here in a second. But these people, as I've said, these people are absolute lunatics. He was the person he was addressing said something along the lines of that he and his other members had been there working, and that he hasn't been there working, and that was when he responded by saying that he's been dealing with his brother's death and his nephews and all of that. But here's the thing. He can, you know what? Let's before I say something I probably shouldn't. Let's see if we can get to another part of this video that sets up the final part that we're actually going to watch. Check it out. All right, here we go.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Shut up.
Ladies and gentlemen. Chairman Farmer, briefly.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Representative Pearson, it seems that it's very common in your party when you disagree with a comment, and I was not disrespectful to you, that you resort to yelling. Basically, everything you just told me, you just did. I have a family. I've made sacrifices every year. So
Representative Pearson, ladies and gentlemen, we are going, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Representatives, we are, I know this is a very difficult time for you to be back up here. I'm sorry for all the things that you've experienced. You've been a great uncle. You've done the things that you were supposed to do to help.
Okay, so this guy goes on. He's the chairman of the committee that they're in. This guy goes on to basically apologize and try and pat him on the back and calm the situation down. And I get it. I understand why he did it. But here is Pearson's final reaction. And this is just the icing on the meltdown cake. Check this out.
Does anyone wish to change their vote? Mr. Clerk, take a vote.
Mr. Chairman, you have 2 ayes, 7 nays.
Here we go.
Hey, Representative Pearson. No, sir. No, sir. No.
Don't touch him. Do not touch him. Do not touch him. Do not touch him.
Don't you ever come back to me and my family.
Bye, Farmer. Please stop.
Don't you ever
Bye, Farmer. Bye, Farmer.
Take care of him, Justin. Come on, Justin. Come on, Justin.
Wow.
We love you. Thank you, Justin.
this dude is also certifiably insane. He is fortunate that his colleague there had a lot more self-control than he did, because a lot of other people would have jumped up and put him through the wall that was behind him with ease. And you get in somebody's face and you start pointing your finger in their face, you're gonna get what's coming to you very often. And like I said, he was very fortunate that that didn't happen. And of course, the guy who responded violently probably would have ended up losing his job or removed from the house, or who knows what would have happened. But whatever happened, whatever he did to Justin Pearson in that moment, I would have been perfectly okay with, and a lot of people would be. These people are just absolute lunatics. I don't think there's any other way to describe it. And so that was the first one. There's another lunatic that we've actually talked about. We've actually talked about this lunatic quite a bit. And I just, when you think about what this person said, and I actually didn't watch the whole thing when it happened because this clip is actually a few months old, and I didn't watch the whole interview when this was said. I kind of wish I had at this point, because I would have talked about it then. But by now you probably figured out that I'm referring to Jasmine Ratchet. And she is without a doubt one of the absolute worst people in Congress. She's not the dumbest. Dan Bongino's old former producer, did a March Sadness ranking where people, a bracket where people voted for the dumbest member of Congress, and this person won. Jasmine Ratchet won. And my response is, she is a terrible human being. She is perhaps one of the worst, but she's not the dumbest. She's not dumber than AOC. She's not dumber than, actually, yeah, he didn't limit it to the House or the Senate, and Mazie Hirono was in that bracket too. She's not dumber than Mazie Hirono. She's not dumber than Eric Swalwell. But she won. Anyway, that's just a side note. But listen to what this chick had to say on The Breakfast Club with Charlemagne, and I refuse to call him by his screen name or whatever it is. But this is just insane that only somebody like this could get away with.
If we continue to put people into office, and that even means some of our skinfolk who definitely are not our kinfolk, such as Byron Donalds, who are going to continue to say that, the fact that you sitting around talking about life was better under Jim Crow, is this because you don't understand history? Or literally it's because you married a white woman and so you think that whitewashed you? I'm not really sure what it is.
Well,
but
you
I
couldn't
need
even be married to a white woman under Jim
correct.
Crow.
Correct. And it took Joy to call him out. So I'm like, bro, what are you talking about? What are you saying? He just out here, I feel like they give him his talking points and he's like, yes, massa, I got it.
Wow. Only somebody like her could get away with saying that. Can you imagine if Kat Kamek, representative from Florida, or Lauren Boebert said something like that about Kamala Harris and Doug Emhoff, or said something like that about Bill de Blasio and his wife. What's her name? Charlene McRae. The backlash, the outrage would have been beyond description. They would have been run out of the House of Representatives easily. But she can say it, and it didn't even register. It didn't even register until somebody recently pulled it up. That interview was months ago. But she's wrong. She's just wrong on so many fronts. And I thought I had the what Byron Donalds actually said, but I didn't prepare it, unfortunately. But basically, what Byron Donalds never said, the words that life was better under Jim Crow never came out of his mouth. What he was talking about was the Black family, and how during that time, the Black family was intact. That was before Lyndon Johnson's Great Society and before the government started paying women to have babies and keep the fathers out of the home. The Black family was intact. Children were raised by their mothers. Black children were raised by their mothers and their fathers. And as a result of that, Black families were, in that respect, obviously with Jim Crow, there was still all kinds of injustices being perpetrated and things like that. We understand that, we know that. But the Black family as a unit, by and large, was better off than what we're seeing right now. There is no such, well, I shouldn't say there is no such thing, but a Black intact family is not the norm these days as it was during the Jim Crow era. And that's what he was saying. That's what he was saying. And of course, the American Pravda ran with that and attacked him for it and all that. And it's just insane, because like I said, can you imagine if somebody like Kat Kamek or Lauren Boebert or Liz Warren said anything like that along those lines about Kamala Harris and Doug Emhoff? And she never said anything about Kamala Harris and Doug. Well, I guess she probably doesn't really consider Kamala Harris Black, so that's neither here nor there. Which is probably why she didn't have that same energy with her that she had with Byron Donalds. All right. You know what? Let's take a pause here for a second and get a word in. Get a word in from our sponsor, because I got a few more things I want to get into, and I ran a little bit over on those things, especially in the beginning with the Hamas and Leslie Stahl stuff. That was just absolutely insane. But yeah, let's get a word from our sponsor here. Just had a little technical glitch there. Not sure what that was. But yeah, let's have a word from Patriot Mobile. Patriot Mobile is America's only Christian conservative wireless carrier. And these days, it is more important than ever that we support companies that represent our values. Votes are great. Votes have gotten us to where we are right now, but it's not enough. We have to participate in the parallel economy. And Patriot Mobile is one of those companies that they support our values, and they do actually do something about it. They donate a portion of every dollar to organizations that fight for causes that you and I care about. They fight against human trafficking. They fight for the right to life. They donate to crisis pregnancy centers, and they fight against organizations like Planned Parenthood. So these are companies like this are companies that we need to support as much as we can. And believe me when I tell you, because we switched a few months ago, well, probably 6 months ago now. It has been absolutely fantastic. We don't have dropped calls. We don't have to deal with people in Pakistan or wherever these other companies have their call centers. When we talk to somebody for customer service, they are right here in the good old US of A. So switch to Patriot Mobile now and get a free month of service with the offer code Jackson. Defend freedom with every call and text that you make. Go to patriotmobile.com, use promo code Jackson or call 972-PATRIOT and use promo code Jackson today. All right, y'all. And I don't think you can see me now, can you? That is interesting. Well, we'll see if we can get it worked out. In the meantime, I am Big E, and you are watching, or now pretty much listening, to the Mission Ready Men briefing on the SHR Media Network. And on this network, you can catch Sackhead Sean with the Edge of Liberty every Monday and Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern. The Reaver of Common Sense with Jersey Joe every Monday and Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern and 6 p.m. Pacific. And BZ with the Berserk Bobcat Saloon every Tuesday and Thursday at 11 p.m. Eastern and 8 p.m. Pacific. He has taken some time off. I'm not sure if he's going to be back today, but he will be back. And when he is, you can catch him every Tuesday and Thursday at 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific. So like and subscribe and share all those guys' great shows. And as usual, pray for us to have a huge breakthrough so that we can reach as many people as possible. And I am still trying to figure out what is happening with the camera here. There we go. Kinda. I think it'll clear up in a second. But if not, maybe that's a good thing. Who knows? Anyway, moving on. I have talked about in the past, recently, about men being in shape, men taking care of yourselves, being physically able to be the man that God has called us to be. First Timothy says, for bodily exercise profits a little, but godliness is profitable for all things, having the promise of life that now is and of that which is to come. So what he's talking about there is, yes, it's good to keep yourself physically fit, but the main goal is to pursue the Lord. And so obviously pursuing physical strength and fitness is something that we should do. But it's not, as I just said, the be all and end all. It's not where our primary focus should be. Our primary concern should be pursuing a relationship with God and obeying him. Sorry, this is annoying me, and I'm trying to get the all right, well, I guess we just won't blur the background anymore. There we go. So, like I said, our primary focus should be pursuing a relationship with God and focusing on him. But something occurred to me over the past few weeks. My wife and I have had a lot going on recently, and we've been just going straight out for the past, like I said, 3 weeks a month. And we caught a breather this past weekend, and we did absolutely nothing but rest. And we needed it. We absolutely needed it. We probably need more. But until very recently, men in particular have been programmed to prioritize work, success, earning a good living above everything. That for men who are not Christians and who are not pursuing a relationship with God, that has been what men have been programmed to do. Do whatever it takes to reach the next level. Do whatever it takes to succeed at your company. Do whatever it takes to build your company, if you're an entrepreneur, to make it successful. Sacrifice to get the job done. Stay late at work, stay up late at home, work at home, all of that. And there is a place for that. There is a time and a place for that. But as I've said, that can't be the be all and end all. That can't be, you run the risk of making that an idol in your life if you do that, if you let it. And it can't come at the expense of your primary goal, which is to serve God and lead your family in that service. Lead your family to serve God as you are. That should be your primary goal and focus. And you can't do that. You can't do that if you work so hard that you don't have the time to rest, if you don't have the time to recharge. Because what's going to happen is you're going to work so hard to pursue those goals. Then when it comes time for you to worship God, to lead your family in Bible study, to go to church and things of that nature, you're not going to do it. So the other thing about that is, though, that God wants us to rest. God, on the seventh day, he rested. God has made us to rest and recharge and use that time to reconnect with him. We should always be pursuing that connection throughout the day, pray without ceasing. But that seventh day is meant for us to really rest and pursue him. And in pursuing him, we will find that rest and spiritual recharge. I'm just having all kinds of technical. I need a new computer. That's what it is. Anyway, Psalm 127:2 says, "It is vain for you to rise up early, to sit up late, to eat the bread of sorrows, for so he gives his beloved sleep." Here we go again. Here we go again. Okay. When the bread of sorrows is basically just the toil when Adam and Eve, when they ate of the fruit of the knowledge of good and evil, the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, God told Adam he was going to have to work. He was going to have to tend the soil in order to eat. And so that's what the Bible means when it's Psalm 127 says, when it says, "Eat the bread of sorrows." That's what it's talking about. Sleep and rest are a time to renew, to restore your mind and body, to recharge, to let go of stress. There's a famous saying, we actually just saw it in Roadhouse the other day, and it's not the first time it's been said, but he says, one of the characters says, "I'll get all the sleep I need when I'm dead." Well, that's not true. That could not be further from the truth. And I'm not going to get into all of that right now, but we should be thankful for sleep. We should be thankful for rest. Because when we sacrifice that, we can't be the husbands, the fathers, the friends, the people. We can't be the people that we were designed to be, that we need to be. It's important for our physical and spiritual well-being. And if we think about it, I can guarantee you that we can find other things that we can let go of to free up time, to sacrifice, other than sleep. All right. Let me see if we can bring the camera back and get this going again, because this is annoying, probably as much for you as it is for me. There we go. And let's see if we can avoid for the rest of, which is only about 14 minutes left, unless I was gonna get to Signal, and I don't really want to get into that, other than to say Mike Walsh should stop talking. He did an interview with Laura Ingraham, and his explanation sounds utterly ridiculous. And sorry about that. I'm just watching the video feed. It's choppy, unfortunately. So I apologize for that. We'll see if we can get it worked out for next time. Mike Walsh should stop talking, because his explanation, even he said that he had attacked in his phone and somehow the number got switched, and that's why he ended up with contacting journalists with Signal chat. Even if what he says is absolutely true, even if some intelligence agency got into his phone and set up a contact like he did, something that I have lived by over the past, I don't know, 20 plus years, is say it out loud. If you say something out loud sounds ridiculous, then don't say it. And we see stuff like this all the time, where you look at a TV commercial and somebody actually pitched that idea and nobody decided it was ridiculous. And then you see this ridiculous TV. If you say out loud as a government official that somebody hacked my phone and switched the contact, and that's why this information leaked, as I said, even if it's true, even if the CIA or the NSA or whoever who has it in for him and Trump and all of the administration, even if that is exactly what happened, it sounds utterly ridiculous. It sounds ridiculous. And even in the interview, Laura Ingraham was pushing back, saying that's never happening. Even if it's true, shut up. Just be quiet. Just wait. If somebody came to me and said that, if I had somebody and it was some sensitive information and then it got out to somebody and somebody said, yeah, somebody got on and switched the contact and that's why that, come on. Again, even if it's true, just be quiet. Just be quiet and let it die. All right. Couple to get to. RFK Jr. RFK Jr. actually started fat shaming governors, and it is it is amazing. And I don't know if I'm actually going to be able to let's give it a shot anyway, because this is too good. He was actually in West Virginia, and the governor of West Virginia is enormous. I think he actually said that he ate the governor. well, you know what, this isn't going to work. You know what? Because of these technical difficulties, I am just going to go ahead and end the show a little early, unfortunately. That's not all I got for you right now. And I will try to do better the next time, because it's annoying to, it's probably as annoying to you, the audience, as it is to me, maybe even more so, I don't know. But please remember to hit the like button, subscribe, share these episodes so that we can continue to spread the gospel of Jesus' message of hope and liberty to as many people as we possibly can, because we want to preserve what we have. We have the greatest country in the world, and we want to preserve what we have for future generations. And also, if you like the shirt I'm wearing, which you really can't see right now, but head over to missionreadymen.com, on Shop 7 Arms, and check out all the cool designs that we have over there that have a message of faith and patriotism. missionreadymen.com, Shop 7 Armors. And as always, one set police are only minutes away, but the Lord is right there with you. Keep your prayers going up and your head on a swivel. God bless.